Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I'm your host, ye old incredible Sulk. You know how I am and how I do and who I am and what I do. I hope you guys are having a good evening and I hope you had a good day. Yeah. It is Wednesday, I believe, and we're going to go ahead and dive on into a weird show again. We're talking about nose rings tonight, and I mentioned this before several times, but it seems that there's a concrete theory, a theorem that has been developed by top scientists, top men, and checks out. Seems to check out time after time after time after time. I'm just kidding. It's not always. It's not every time. But you'd be surprised, or maybe not so much, about how frequent it actually is. There's a piece of fuzz on my neck. There's a piece of fuzz on my neck. So yeah. Every time a chick has a nose ring, there's something up. Not to say that's necessarily a bad thing. People have their certain tastes and whatnot. And, you know, some people like them crazy. You know I do. So we're just gonna go ahead and delve into that whole pie. That's probably not the best word to use, but I used it, so live with it. What's his name? Our friend Asmund Gold has covered this first, and so we're just gonna piggyback off of his show, and you know, we're gonna see where this night takes us. We're going to keep it real relaxed, real chill. I feel like I've been working hard lately. I've been making gains, achievements, and all that. And, you know, sometimes your boy needs a break. Not tonight. Or any night, basically. But we'll think about it. Anyways, guys, once again, thank you so much for coming. Get comfy. Get cozy. Get a nice bottle of nail polish and start painting your toesies. I don't care. I don't give a shit what you do. Whatever you do, be safe about it. You know, don't put it onto a rag and start huffing it if you're not in a well-ventilated area, because, boy, I've had that problem. Anyways, if you're working, keep working. If you are driving, continue to drive and drive safely. I would very much appreciate it if you got home and liked this stream. Hit the like button if you would be so kind. I would really appreciate that. Anyways, I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. It is a Wednesday night, and this is called the Nose Ring Theory. Enjoy.
Hey, all right, yeah, let's watch it. You know what? Let's watch it right now.
So I'm 24 years old, and I've been trying my hand at dating.
Perfect.
Why do they
Perfect. 24 years old. And you know, she's like, you can't really see her because but she's behind me. Over here. She got this thing right here. Pretty. Why? It's not always the pretty ones. A lot of times it's the uggos, right? The fat uggos who put a nose ring in and be like, I'm different. I'm bisexual. We get it. You're just kind of gross. But there's oftentimes pretty ones who do it and stuff, and who knows what terrible things have gone on in that psyche. But we're here to explore. We are here to explore.
get rid of their eyebrows? Why do they do that?
Oh, I didn't even notice. She doesn't have eyebrows. Looks very alien. I have eyebrows.
Men specifically for probably.
Big B Trucker says, "Can I huff nail polish?" Yeah, I don't care what you do, man. I mean, don't. Look. It is the opinion of this show that you should not huff nail polish. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And if you were to do that, it would not be my responsibility whatsoever. You partying and having a great time and maybe, actually feeling at peace with your own psyche for once in your lifetime sounds really terrible. So don't do that. Don't do that.
In a serious way.
Yeah.
I'm single at the moment. My boyfriend and I.
Don't huff an entire canister of galaxy gas. Okay.
Broke up recently, and I.
By the way, this isn't galaxy gas. This is just oxygen. I got a I got a bottle of canned oxygen, because I wanted to see how it was. It is indeed oxygen.
Probably dated about
I'll
like
tell you one of the reasons. Like, so one time, I'm gonna tell
That'd
you.
be sick if I just had a bottle of fucking nitrous right here, though, right? If I was just going to fucking space right here, you know, watch one of my eyes just kind of like give up and just kind of drift off. Yeah, that's what would happen.
One of the reasons why guys don't like dating girls like her. I had a friend. His name was Austin.
Cheddar says, "I agree. He's kind of cute. He's probably talking about me. That's pretty gay. That's pretty gay, Cheddar. Okay, I like you too, bud. Married.
Lifelong friend. Known him 15 years. 2010, 2011. I walk into his room. He had a girlfriend like this. Looked just like this. I was jealous. I thought she was hot. Anyway, I see there's a stain and a brown mark on his floor. And I said, Austin, what happened? He says, never let a chick with piercings give you a blowjob. I said, damn. Do you want to go to Dairy Queen? He says, yeah. What the fuck? I know.
What? I'm sorry. What? Asmin, back. Go. Tell me more about that. Go into more detail about that specific. What? Does anybody in the chat know what happened? Does anybody know how those two things are connected? A brown stain on the floor, and then a chick with a nose ring giving you a blowjob. What the fuck happened? I legitimately want to know. Carbon says it's not good unless that shit is sparking. Okay, I don't know. What? Did he shit? Did she shit? Why was there shit involved at all? What does the nose ring have to do with it? Was it just like she's really crazy, or did it get caught on something? I don't know. This is a mystery. Why didn't... Any theories? I don't have any.
Yep. This is a bad one, man.
4 to 5 men, seriously.
You goddamn incel basement dwelling son of a bitch. Tell me why. Tell me why somebody pooped, I imagine, whether it be guy poop or girl poop. I probably don't want to know. How's Dairy Queen, though? Did you guys enjoy Dairy Queen after that? Did you guys talk about it? Did you get a chocolate shake, or did you didn't want to invite the comparison? And you're like, oh yeah, there was shit on your floor. By the way, how was that BJ from that nose ring girl? Because I bet it was stellar. I mean, if you're shitting your pants and like popping your toes and stuff like that, I bet that shit's stellar. Or did she do something deeply strange? Did she peg you? Did you get pegged? And that's why you're like, don't, let a girl with a nose ring blow you, because then she's going to insist on pegging you. And she did not lube that up. How's your milkshake?
Running into the same issues every single time
Soft
I
serve.
date a man, and I've been trying to really...
Look, honey, take that shit out. Take it out. And then this thing. What is this? What is this called? What is the thing between their eyes called? Just take it out. It's not that big of a deal. It's not permanent. Just take it out. Take this thing out. And you're good. You're good to go. You're pretty. You're honestly pretty. It's kind of a shame that you're doing this. I know you think you're like edgy and shit. Or like you got some you got a past. But I could look past a lot of shit. I ain't a saint either. I am not. By any stretch of the imagination. So, but plowing you and just hearing fucking wind chimes because your piercings are knocking against each other is going to be distracting. You know what I mean?
Get to the root of what it is. And now, I know what you're thinking. You probably have a type. I do not have a type.
Yeah.
These men don't know each other. They're not friends. They're not from the same area.
Right.
They don't look alike.
Yeah.
I really do not have a
Sure.
type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. I really have been...
No. No, there is a very certain type. I mean, like, look. Actually, I don't even know. I don't even know. Because it could be from... you are admittedly an attractive girl. And you have the snake bites, too, right? The little fangs coming out from these piercings. And I think every guy would just be like, if you gave them an opportunity, they'd be like, well, I don't love the piercings, but like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm down to hit it. So it could be any sort of guy. As long as he's attractive to her. So that actually narrows it down to like 5% of guys. None of these guys had anything in common with each other, but they all landed in that 5% category. That's the only thing.
Reflecting a lot and trying to figure out what...
There wasn't like a fat Funko Pop collector in that bunch, right? There wasn't like, oh, there was Chad, comic book guy, Chad. No, it wasn't that. No. And you might say there was. I don't believe you. Because I've made it a firm rule not to believe women. It's helped me a lot.
Like, the root of all these issues is... Now, don't get me wrong.
Think about that. Just as a general rule. Just not to believe women. Not saying you have to live your life any certain type of way. I'm not your guru. Well, I kind of am. I'm not your cult leader. I'm your cult leader as well. I'm not forcing you to think a certain way. I'm not forcing you to live a certain way. But I think it would be very helpful for you guys to listen to me. Not forcing you guys to do anything. No.
The root of all the issues is that everybody else is wrong and that you're right and you...
Cheddar says, I like the cowbell better. But doesn't the cowbell go around the neck? I should put a cowbell on Jess, just so I can hear her walking around. I mean, it's not like difficult because she's always got a kid on her hip. So, you hear screaming coming down the hallway, and that's usually my wife. Sometimes she doesn't, but usually 9 times out of 10, she's carrying a baby or a toddler. So it's not like difficult to hear her coming in any capacity. Or she's like talking to me or somebody. I don't know. She could be schizophrenic. She could be talking to like her other personality. I have no idea. I try not to listen to women. Remember that prior rule? I don't believe her. So when she's all like, I'm depressed, I'm like, sure you are. Get a load of her.
You didn't do anything wrong. It's everybody else collectively
You guys.
that's bad except for you.
I'm not perfect.
Obviously.
Christian says first, and there's already like 30 people here.
But I'm not the reason that any of these
everybody knows
relationships ended.
that.
One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that
Yeah,
I don't
for
think
sure.
men are really socialized to know what it means.
Here we go. What did I tell you?
Just says, LMAO, I'm not subtle.
Just look at him and you know.
To truly love someone.
You guys want to know something about Jess? When we started dating, she had a nose ring. Who is surprised? Who's honestly surprised? Who is surprised about that? And you know what I did? I made her take it out. I was like, you need to take that shit out. You need to take that shit out. You just need to take that out. And she did. And who's really surprised? Oh, John dated a crazy girl. No way! No way! John seems so like normal and balanced and like even keeled and stuff like that. It's not like he has explosive rage or like, I don't know, fits of paranoia.
Like love their partner and care for their partner.
Who said that?
Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to
Goofy Boots says you converted one. Nice, I did. Yeah, wifed her up and everything. Yeah. And it's been 7 years. 7 years. And, It's a relationship. Relationships are never easy. Look, dude. Relationships take work. Marriages take work. All right? And like, it's been exciting. It's been fun. I didn't want a boring one. I wanted one that was like, oh, will she kill me tonight? Hasn't yet. She keeps saying she's going to do it. She says she's going to turn on the gas and, not light it and then go to bed. And I'm all like, ooh, hopefully this is the night. Never. Doesn't have the balls. Never believe women. Right? Because then I'd call the cops and I'd be like, my wife is trying to kill me constantly. And they'd be like, sure.
Like, I don't know. Just like, I guess I don't know how to phrase it.
Yeah,
what I'm
you
saying,
don't.
for example, is that
Couch Traffic said, I just got it too. Like what? Right before we started dating, you got a nose ring? And then she had a nose ring and a pixie cut. I lived dangerously. I lived on the fucking edge. I didn't give a fuck. I was all like, yeah, whatever. Let's get crazy. Engaged 4 months later, married 4 months after that. Fucking crazy. Well, here I am. Rock you like a hurricane.
every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life. I'm the most important.
Cheddar says John gets angry like an Arab father with misbehaving kids in a grocery store. What does that mean? What does that mean? I've never seen that. What does that mean? I have no idea what you mean by that.
Person in their life that they would take a bullet for me.
Yeah.
And every single one of them has treated me horribly, okay? I don't know about you, but when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. I'm treating them accordingly.
Yeah.
Part of it that really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I start calling it out. I would be like, you.
Okay, she's like obsessive. She's obsessive. And probably compulsive, so she's probably got that OCD, that obsessive compulsive. I'm not going to call it a disorder. I'm just going to say she's obsessive and compulsive. I think she's firing on all cylinders. But she is obsessive and she is compulsive. That is what it is, when you're in the rodeo, do you want to ride the bull that's tame and this one's going to be a boring ride? Or do you want to ride the one that's going to be like, oh, I hope I last 8 seconds on this one? Of course, you want the fun one. You want to get that belt buckle to mean something. You want that buckle to fucking mean something. This is my buckle. This is my buckle. You see it? Oh, man. Yeah, showing it off.
You do not love me and you do not care about me.
You start calling that out? Why would you do that?
Because she's fucking crazy. She's fucking crazy.
Why? I mean, do you want to, why would you even do that? I don't even understand. So here we go, right? It's a self-report.
Point blank, period. Otherwise, you wouldn't be treating me badly.
It is a self-report. Look, women will tell you exactly what they are, and they might do it in a fun, cutesy way, in a roundabout way, and be like, ha ha, I'm going to burn your house down, ha 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 ha. And you're like, oh, okay. Is that a joke? Of course it is. She's lighting matches and throwing them. I'm just saying, they're going to tell you what they're going to do. So is my wife going to poison me in my sleep, by leaving the gas on and suffocating me and my family? It's a possibility.
And they will argue, and they get genuinely, offended. They get offended. I honestly pity them because I don't think they're socialized to know.
Art and Cherry says a man has to be firm enough for the woman to conform to him. That, not that he doesn't make concessions, but men are the driver of how things are. You get what you tolerate. Be willing to walk away. Yeah, I don't think, I wouldn't exactly describe myself as tolerant. Maybe you picked up on this. So, yeah, I made her take out the fucking nose ring. And then I was all like, now you're going to have some very harsh opinions on minorities because that's my opinions. And then there she goes. She picks right up on that too. It's like she's mirroring me. You have to know how to do it. It's not hard. It's really not hard. Women want a personality, and they're basically blank slates. All you have to do is give it to them. You have to, if you don't give a woman her personality, the media will do it. That's why you have so many of these chicks with a fucking bolt in their nose and fucking purple hair and then going fucking crazy and like voting for Kamala Harris and shit like that. Because nobody is giving them a personality. They are a blank slate. Okay?
Oh, what that means.
I like how this girl that shaved her
like
fucking
that bit?
eyebrows off and has her fucking these piercings on so she looks like a vampire and a nose ring like the prize cattle at the the fucking country fair is going to tell somebody else that they're
John's cat says, I would like a say in this, John. No bell. No, you don't get, you're a fucking cat.
not properly
You're
socialized.
a fucking cat.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
I don't know how to get it across.
Cheddar says, or some other loser will. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people, look, you know what I'm sick of? A bunch of chicken shit men. Like this is our main problem. The women are not the problem. They're not. Lots of hand waves. The women are not the problem. It's the chicken shit men who are like, oh, she got a nose ring. Yeah, it means she's fucking crazy. I don't want to marry a crazy girl. That might cause problems. Wow, you sound like a fucking weak bitch. You can't control a woman. You have absolutely no control over what a woman does. So you're scared? You're literally scared of her. That's why she puts in the fucking thing. Right? To scare off pussies like you. Grow some fucking nuts. Grow some fucking nuts, dude. Look, there's a bevy of chicks out there, and there's some very attractive ones. Not to say all the ones, there's ugly ones with a fucking nose ring too, but look, they want to shit test you. This is the first aesthetic shit test they're going to do. Chicks will test you time and time and time again. And if you blow it on the very first test, what chance do you have? Grow some fucking balls. Grow some fucking balls. That's all I have to say about that. I mean, I could say a lot more, too. I mean, like, a lot of men have been absolutely fucking pussified. Like, and it's embarrassing, too. Because I see it. I see like a normal looking guy with like a good job, and he's with like some 400-pound whale, and he's like, well, she's nice to me, and is she? Because it seems like she walks all over you, and at that size, that's gotta hurt. You're gonna need to see a chiropractor or something, because she's slipping a disc for sure. Yeah, grow some fucking nuts. I swear to God. Dude, swear to God. Like, what is the deal with men that can't even talk to women? You're afraid that she's going to be mean to you? Who gives a fuck? That means you give a shit about her look, that means you give a shit about her opinion. And that's another shit test you failed. Okay? You should never give two fucks about her opinion. I mean, I care about Jess's opinion. I love you, honey. No, I really do. I care about Jess's opinion. But my opinion definitely trumps hers time after time after time. I'm glad she gave me her opinion. I'm glad she shared that with me. But if it's different from mine in any aspect, mine's going to win. Because I'm the fucking man. This is my house, all right? These are my children. I make all the money, and I get to say what goes on. Not to say I'm going to be intentionally mean to her in any way like that, but let's just be real. I'm running the fucking show. Okay? Please do. Please give me your opinions. I would love to hear you weigh in on certain topics. Because a lot of things, I don't know everything. Like, for real, legit, I don't know everything. So if she knows something about a topic that, like, I don't know, like what color she wants the walls to be painted, and then she tells me that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Or like what she wants to make for dinner. And if I'm on board with that, then cool. Or look, I know these are very trivial things, but it could be bigger than that. And sometimes I'll just defer. I'll be like, okay, you probably know more about this, so I'm just going to roll with it. And then we're going to go with your idea, because I have not looked into it one bit. So, but if I care enough, I will look into it, and then I'll form my own opinion. And if it clashes with hers, we're still going with my opinion. Or I might agree with her. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But from the very start, guys see a chick and and she's got like a fucking short pink hair and a fucking nose ring and stuff like that, and they make a joke about like, oh, you know, frogs in the jungle, they're brightly colored when they're toxic and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? The fucking tribesmen, they go lick those frogs on purpose because it's a lot of fun and it gets you high as fuck. You're not like extracting a parallel there or anything like that. Do it, man. It's a lot of fun. And if you can't handle your shit, you're gonna freak out and lose your mind and your life, maybe. But you know, don't be a fucking pussy about it. Lick the frog.
In a meaningful way
I can
to them.
fix her. I mean,
But
she's
they
pretty,
just
sure.
don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this back.
Carbon says, and if the dinner is burned, there will be consequences. Then Jess says, I miss my fingers. Well, you still have a few left.
Thing to me if you actually loved me in the way
What
that
should
you
you not do?
say you do. Like, that is not what love is. That's not what love is. When you love someone, you don't do
She's
things.
probably a
Shemo Street says, great advice. It is. It is good advice. It is good advice. And I'm sick of a bunch of fucking pussies out there. Right? I know, look, I complain about women a lot. I know you guys know this. I complain about women constantly. But it is not, look, ascribing fault to this entire situation, this gender dynamic we have going on in modern society is difficult, but it's also insincere to a certain degree. Okay, I'm not saying that it's necessarily women's fault that they act like women. I think it's a biological imperative. I think they're just, evolved to act a certain way because this is how they survived through millennia of generations. However, when it comes to men, even though we have our own evolution and we have our own warning signs, we have our own kind of like motivations and stuff like that. You can't be a fucking chicken. You can't be a fucking pussy. And I feel like that's all I see. It's just, men that used to be hunters and like used to push the limits and be like, I don't know what this mushroom does. Let's eat it and find out. Some of you will die. Some of you will die, but some of you are going to have like an awesome experience. We need to keep doing that. I don't know if it's a loss of testosterone. Well, it probably is. It probably is a loss of testosterone. But again, that's not completely men's fault. This is a multifaceted situation. There is a lot going on with biology and hormones, and the birth control pill is involved, and it is a tangled knot. And for me to sit here and just like pick it apart and like try to find the core problem, it would take too long and it would be too complicated. But over the course of the show, I will do my best. What I'm saying is don't be a fucking pussy. Okay? Lick the frog, eat the mushroom. See how it is. See how it is. And then if you're any sort of a man, it will not destroy your life. If you have any brain at all in your stupid fucking head, then it won't destroy your life. You think when people jump out of airplanes with like parachutes and stuff like that, they're all like, oh, I hope this doesn't end my life. No, they have a plan of action, right? They yank the chute before the ground comes. Work out a plan. Don't just be chicken. You be the chicken sitting on the plane being like, I don't want to do it. What if my chute doesn't open? Well, it just doesn't open. Just doesn't open. How's that? So you're just going to sit on the plane? You're going to miss out on an entire life experience. Maybe a pinnacle of your life, right? A top tier thrill. Because maybe your chute won't open? Boo. Ew. Ew. You think women find that attractive? You think women find cowardice attractive? No. That's why they put in the fucking nose ring. That's why they put in the fucking hair dye. And that's why they act crazy from time to time. If you break through that shell, you break through that exterior, it's pretty worth it. It's pretty worth it.
Annoying.
Intentionally or even unintentionally.
Yeah, it's just probably annoying.
Why is that considered love to you? I'm just like, I don't know where it's coming from.
Despite what you've heard, it says men that eat bacon, and then Onia says, careful, John's terrified of that stuff. Okay. I hear my wife laughing in the other room.
pity them because that has to be awful, but
Probably, yeah.
like, I can't handle
I mean, how
it
long
anymore,
is this?
dude.
So in this video,
Jesus
this girl is
Christ.
describing her troubles with finding a good man.
Yeah.
She insists that she
Hello, Dan
doesn't have
Snot.
a type, that none of these men really have anything in common.
Mid, right? Mid. Ugh, mid. This is a lot of makeup, and you're still mid. Look, makeup is a miracle. Makeup is a miracle, and like the ability that women have to change their faces with makeup is like crazy. But if you're not pretty and you put on makeup, you're not going to be as pretty as a pretty girl who puts on makeup. You are not pretty. You put on makeup. You're just a not pretty girl with makeup on. Sorry. I know it's harsh, but this is a Sulk stream.
But for some reason, in the end, they always end up treating her horribly.
Isn't that crazy?
Christian says 5 grams in absolute darkness, and that's just the start. Exactly. You're not getting anywhere until you do at least 12 or 13. Alone. I've had rides.
See how the same person can go to a bunch of people that they admit themselves are totally different and have the same outcome? Huh. So if you're the common denominator in all of these situations...
This lady makes good points usually. Who is it? Who is this chick? Tell me who she is and I'll follow her.
It must be men as a whole that are wrong. Can you? Because like think about this. That was
Nobody's wrong. Nobody's right. Look, social dynamics are very complicated. To break it down into this black and white paradigm of just wrong and right is oversimplifying it. Women aren't inherently wrong. Well, they're not as wrong as... damn. No, women are inherently wrong. But I'm not saying men are inherently right. There. But yeah, women are wrong.
2-minute video of her talking. That felt like 10 minutes. Can you imagine having an argument with her?
Onia says it's called Sulk Stream because it's not supposed to be happy. It's not supposed to be happy. It's supposed to be enlightening, informative, sometimes funny. Sometimes. The cat's here. Let me get the cat.
I dated a girl like this one time, and I got to the point where like because then she'd just start talking, and I'd be oh fuck, just shut up, just stop.
Okay.
Just no, please. Right, one time, yeah, only one time. Pink Spark. No, it was not easy.
And this led many in the comments to speculate that it must be something about her that is the common denominator. And unfortunately, since such a
Yeah, of course, she's the common denominator. And look, she's a traditionally... Who would say that... I'm not talking about this chick, but the other one with the bolt in her nose. Who would say that she's not attractive? Minus the bolt. And like this thing and the fucking... the vampire teeth. Realistically, on a biological level, who would not hit it? Is there a show of hands? Anybody in the chat? No. It is, you guys would all, and I know, because some of you are fucking gross, okay? Some of you are fucking gross. I think Big B Trucker was here, or Big Country. I don't fucking know. But like, it's a shit test. It is a shit test, and she doesn't even know she's doing it. She has no idea, because it's not like, it's not premeditated. It's not like, oh, if I put this in my nose, I will scare off the weaker specimens, that way making my offspring stronger and braver to fight off, saber-toothed tigers and stuff. This isn't in her thinking brain. This is in her deep animal horny brain. This is in the horny hungry part of the brain. She doesn't know what she's doing, but it is on purpose in a sense.
Short TikTok video, and we don't really get much insight onto greater parts of her personality, and she's not very...
Here's the funny thing about it, is that I am not a judgmental person.
Carbon says everyone needs a grift. Trad thought only works for the hit ones, the hot ones, I assume. No, that's not necessarily true. Because I've seen chicks like that are like rotund. Yeah, the trad wife thing where she like hikes up the boobs and has this weird like fetishist 1950s kind of like, punish me daddy attitude. They're not always hot. They're not. Sometimes they are. Sure, of course. But not always. Not always. Sometimes goth chicks are hot. Not always. Sometimes they're kind of fat. Sometimes they're gross. I have never seen a hot burlesque dancer. I will say that. They are all gross. They're all gross. What is up with that? They're all gross. They're all fat. Why are you so fat? Don't be fat. If you're a girl... look, I should be more careful with my words here. If you are a girl who is single and of marriageable age, don't be fucking fat. If you're married with kids and stuff like that, do what your husband says. Okay? But if you're not, if you're out there dating, trying to find the one, don't be fat. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. If you find yourself getting fat, starve yourself. This is not medical advice, by the way.
But I'm also a judgmental person. I think that we got a lot of insight into her personality.
Open about what her most...
Big B Trucker says, piercings have never held me back. There you go. There you go. There you go. Big B. Piercings. Look, like I said, it is a evolutionary thing. And it's to scare off the weaker men. If it scares you off because she's got pink hair and like a pixie cut, maybe a couple of tattoos and a fucking nose bolt or something like that, then like what? You can't ride the lightning? You're not rock and roll like that? Well, then she don't want you. She just don't want you. You gotta have some fucking balls. Your balls must be this heavy to ride this ride. Yeah, she might destroy your life. Absolutely. Absolutely. You gonna take that risk? You gonna jump out of that plane? Or are you gonna be like, no, what if my parachute doesn't work? I don't want to have a hard time. Oh, wow. 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 That's some pussy shit right there.
Major flaws are to figure out why she's attracting such mean men or why her relationships are always driven to turmoil.
Yeah.
Carbon says, I draw a line at face tats. No, I get that. That's... Look, there is a too far. And face tats are too far. Yeah. Like, or on the neck. Or like, yeah, there's a lot of tats that are like, no. No. I mean, there is like, you do have to use your judgment. Because some frogs in the Amazon, when you lick them, they'll kill you, right? Some of the ones you lick that are brightly colored, you're going to start tripping balls and then you're going to have a great time. You know, there's like, some people die. There's going to be casualties. All right? There's going to be casualties. You just have to determine what is too far. You know, what's too far? There is a too far. There is a too far. Face tats is a clear indication of too far gone. it's too far gone. Who fucking gets fucking face tattoos? I'm gonna tell you, Matthew. It's fucking chicks with like fucking their boyfriend's name on the fucking. Whoa. Jess, I'm gonna have her fucking put Sulk on her forehead. And it's going to mess with her psyche because she's going to see it. It's going to be in mirror writing, too. She's going to look in the mirror and see Sulk and act like I'm telling her to do that. So she'll mope around the house. And I'm like, bitch, that's my job. That's what I do. I sit there and brood. Sexily. I'm very handsome when I brood, and I do it well. I don't have to prove it to you.
People began to theorize, because it's one of the most noticeable things about her, that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercing.
Handpoo says, I have a tattoo on the back of my neck. Why? I have two. I have one right here. I got one on the back of my arm, which I never see. I don't mind them. They don't really bother me. I think they look fine. I dread getting a tattoo that I look at and I'm like, ugh. I don't want to do that.
She has.
Yes.
In fact, these two comments right next to each other.
The piercing theory is so true. Exactly. Yeah, he knows.
The piercing theory is so true, with over 700 likes. And again.
And who says, why not? I don't know. I feel like there's something gay about like putting it on the back of your neck. I feel like there's something gay about that. Maybe I'm thinking like the tramp stamp, like a man getting a tramp stamp, like a lower back tattoo. Why the fuck would you do that? I mean, a back tattoo can look sick, like across like a big fucking metal ass shit across your back if you want to sit in a chair for 20 hours and spend a huge amount of money. But like, I mean, you do you. Back in the neck just seems kind of gay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be judgmental towards you. I look, the only people I will not be judgmental towards is the people in my chat, and especially the people who give me money. But I judge everybody. I do. And it's not it's not direct. It's prejudice. That's what it is. I'm prejudiced. Mm-hmm.
This is a common thing in nature where you have animals that, in order to denote that they're venomous or poisonous.
Arden Shire says men with belly button piercings are the coolest. Yeah. Yep. How'd you know? I got a belly button piercing. It's the dangly thing too. Ew, that's so fucking gross. Did I tell you this story? When me and Jess started dating, like, I had this hair in my belly button, and I just thought I had a hairy belly button, and it was there for months. And one day I was like yanking at it, and it came out, and it was a big ball of lint, and I was all like, "Huh, it's been there for a long time." Little factoid about me.
They have very bright or very unique and striking
Did you want to know that?
So, like, those super bright lizards.
Gnostic
well,
Guru in the
them,
house.
you die.
What's up?
This is true. Like, you ever see a really.
Renee says, I just wish I would have thought of a cohesive idea instead of a dumb little tats. But at least I didn't go full doodle pad. Like a Pete Davidson or there is the full doodle pad, and there is people who like go for a style and like I'm gonna do that style and everything's gonna be related to that style and stuff. And I don't know. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Whatever. I don't, whatever you want to do. I kind of really don't care. I mean, down here in Florida, a lot of people have tattoos. It's not like it's just a very normal thing that people have. So I don't really care what you do. Yeah. Just some tattoos are kind of stupid to me. A lot of tattoos are pretty stupid that I've seen. But people do stupid things.
Bright blue and like purple frog. Don't touch them. You'll die.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking. That's what he said. Fucking Aspen just said exactly what I was talking about. Oh, it's a purple top. Oh, you're gonna die. And look at Aspen. He's behind me. So look at Aspen. Look at Aspen right here. I mean, do you think he's a man's man? Do you think he's the actual epitome of, like, testosterone? Old Aspen here. Not to rag on him or anything like that. I think he's a smart dude. I think he's got his shit together. He makes good money, obviously. But, like, money is not the end all. Money is not everything. A chick wants to know that you're going to not run away when you get mugged. Right? And if you're too scared to approach a woman with a fucking nose ring and like a pixie cut, then you're probably going to run away when you get mugged. Right? And then push your wife down and be like, she's got money. And then you run. You full leg it. Just full leg it. Yeah, I make my wife carry all the money just in case that happens. I trip her, and then I'm like, she's got it all, and then I run. Yep. Because I can, I'm the important one.
Don't care. Nose
Cobra,
ring
yeah.
theory with over 1,200 likes. So you might be wondering, like I did, what about having a bunch?
Shimo3 says Asmund is a rich homeless guy. I mean, he's not homeless. He lives in his dad's attic. And his dad, like, comes home and he talks to him. His dad seems like a nice guy, honestly. He's a real old guy. He's like 70 or something like that. He seems like a nice guy. But, yeah, he's like, I have millions of dollars, but I don't need to leave. I don't see a reason to leave. Okay, man, more power to you. Hell yeah. Kick ass. He says he spends less than 1% of the money he makes, which is like, I mean, it's because you live at home, right? You don't need to spend your money. You just make a ton of money. And look at that crazy fucking look. I can't wait until Asmund gets old. I can't wait until this motherfucker becomes old. Because he's going to be the craziest motherfucker. He's going to be a crazy son of a bitch. And I bet his streams are going to be wild. Looking forward to that. But yeah, of course you don't spend any money. You don't need to. What are you going to spend $1 million on video games? You're going to buy $1 million PC? Look, you're still just a fucking basement dweller. You're still one of those guys. And I am not saying there's a problem with that. You need to live your life the way that makes you happy. Asmund has made his money, right? He can buy a fucking beautiful home with a pool and, like, really make himself ostentatious and gaudy. Why? To flex on people that he has a lot of money? People know that. People know he's got a shitload of money. So what's the point? He doesn't need to prove himself to anybody. He's just like, okay, now that I've achieved everything, I'm going to, live in my parents' attic. Well, his mom's dead, but live in my dad's attic, and then I'm just going to keep doing it, playing video games and shit. Honestly, this man has my respect. He really does. I know I'm saying like he's a basement dweller and all that shit, but I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I am saying it with utmost respect. He don't give a fuck what people think. Not a hot goddamn. He's like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play Skyrim on my fucking $6,000 PC. Yeah, what do you got in there? Like a 5090? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because that's what he likes doing. He's living his life as he sees fit. And he's doing good work at it. Carry on, sir. Carry on.
Bunch of metal in your face would cause someone to treat you poorly. I mean, sure.
This is the Austin example.
Carbon says Asman has dated some cam whore. I think he's dated a few. Yeah, he's whores. Yes, exactly. He's dated a few. Right on.
Well, right. I mean, that's definitely one negative right there. I didn't even know that until he told me that. I didn't even want to know that. I still don't want to know that. Now everybody knows that.
The style.
Onia says he can waste money on $1 million Pokemon card like Jake Paul. Now the Paul brothers I don't like. I don't like the Paul brothers. I don't like their entire demeanor. They're almost like the Island Boys, who I also completely dislike. Or the Tate brothers. Why do they always come in fucking pairs? Why do the worst ones always come in pairs? What's up with that? Why is that the dynamic? If there's two of them, they just become absolute douches. That's not necessarily true. There's that Jack Doherty kid, which I also dislike.
Wasn't everyone's type, but these men were clearly attracted enough to her to date her. So then what is it that's causing the relationships to not go well?
Her.
So I decided to look into what these men were referencing when they
Gnostic Guru. Yeah, the Paul brothers. I know.
talked about the
I know.
piercing theory or
Yes.
the nose ring theory. And
Yeah, and the Tates are, Muslims. Yes, I understand. I know these things. I know this. I don't know what the Island Boys are. They're like human gingivitis. That's what they look like.
this was the top video I found.
Have y'all ever heard of the septum piercing theory?
Yeah.
If you have a septum piercing, you may not want to look it up, but I'm always the last person to hear about shit. So, this is common knowledge. It's dead.
It's common knowledge. She got a gap in her tooth. Look, I can look past this. You can take that out, right? No. Get some fucking braces. Just get some. It's gonna drive me insane. The gap in the teeth? Oh my god, that would drive me insane. Like normal, like just a woman I'm dating? No. Jess has a beautiful smile. This I could not do. This right here, the gap in the tooth? No. And the rest of you is pretty mid too, let's be honest. And so is this fucking thing.
Dead ass. It's actually dead ass. Because it says that every person that has a septum piercing makes their trauma their entire personality.
Hello, dankologist. Look, she's right. She's right. Look. She's right. No, she's right. Everyone has trauma. Everyone's got trust me, I am full up. I got all kinds of trauma. Like, and I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you believe that I'm traumatized in one way or another. But look, a lot of people have trauma. A lot of people have rough childhoods. A lot of people have some unresolved issues with mom or dad or whatever, a fucking weird uncle or some shit like that. Yeah, this is pretty common. And not just in our generation, but throughout time. It's pretty common. This is just the modern manifestation of that. And all I have to say is about that is don't make your trauma your personality. I know it does something to your head, and this is why they do this. They put the thing in because they've been traumatized throughout their life. They feel vulnerable and they feel scared. They want to scare off any weak man that they wouldn't feel comfortable or safe with, right? So this is subconsciously, they are trying to attract somebody who has higher testosterone levels because they feel victimized, they feel traumatized, they feel less safe than a typical daddy's girl kind of person, right? So there you go. Are you that person, or are you scared? You'd be like, I'm not going to lick that toad. What if it hurts me? Well, you're a chicken shit. You're a chicken shit. You're a chicken shit. Just ride the plane until it lands, and then we'll meet you back at the airport bar, you chicken shit.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just look.
Critical Thought says, the people who bitch the loudest always had it the easiest. I'm not exactly sure what you're referencing or what you mean by that. Why you try to be ugly libby women? Why you try be ugly libby women? Is there a comma supposed to? You need a comma.
Yeah, you just look at him. Yeah.
And she agrees? It's dead ass.
Uh-oh.
Like I said, dead ass.
Look, okay, I get like the common phrases and like the, oh, I'm gonna crash out, I'm dead ass, like that kind of stuff. But when you use the same phrasing over and over, use it. You can use it. I don't care. I'm not gonna like judge you for using it. But like if you use dead ass like 10 times in a sentence, I'm just gonna think you're fucking stupid because you can't think of like any kind of synonyms or another way of putting stuff or anything like that. If you just use dead ass or fucking crash out like a million times, I'm like, okay, I'm noticing something. You have a limited vocabulary. I get that. And that makes me lose respect for you. Go ahead and use it. Not saying don't use it. Don't overuse words. Don't overuse words. I don't know how to teach that. I don't know. Some people are stupid. Some people legitimately are stupid. And is that their fault? No. No, it's not. It's not. You know, you can't. If you're born stupid, you're not going to get less stupid. People are like, well, what about education? No. You can't educate stupid people into smart people. You know who thinks that? Fucking stupid people. That's why they shell out thousands and thousands of dollars to go to college, because they think it's going to turn them into a smart person, which is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And I don't give a shit what Grok says or Wikipedia or Reddit says. That shit ain't true. Look, if you term education as like, here's the thing. If you take a smart person, two smart people, and you lock one in a dungeon where he has absolutely no access to any sort of information and no stimulation of any kind whatsoever, and then you take another person and give him generally a normalish childhood where he gets to explore and play and stuff like that, that's going to make him smarter. It is going to make him smarter, not significantly, but it will make him smarter. It just gives his brain a little bit of room to grow. But that's not the case for most people. Most people aren't living in dungeons. If you're living a relatively normal life in the outside, and with you see the sun and the fucking trees and the buildings and shit like that, and you're still fucking stupid, going into college isn't going to help you. It's not going to help you. But here's the thing. Stupid people think they're fucking smart. Invariably. I have never met a stupid person who thought he was stupid. That has to be some sort of magic. I have never met I've met tons of stupid people. Ugh. Never met a stupid person that thought he was stupid. Never in my life. Never in my life. I've met smart people who thought they were stupid. That's a weird one.
Damn, straight from the horse's mouth. Or maybe I should say straight from the bull's mouth. You know.
Good one.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. God, shut the fuck up. I want to strangle you, you stupid bitch. Shut the fuck up.
You get it. And if even the person with the nose ring is saying it's true, I mean, there's got to be something there. And this is just
it is true.
Anpu says, I'm kind of retarded. I believe you.
I mean, again, like, how is it that every this is exactly what I said earlier. Right?
Knobs Dog says it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Is that how is it that every single ancient culture throughout the entire globe came up with some form of...
If you don't know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, it's just basically most people think they're smart. Most people think they're good drivers. Most people think they're generally above average at the things they do, which is statistically impossible, right? If you are a person, most likely you are average at doing person things because you're a person, right? You're not at the end of the bell curve, you know? You're at the top. Probably. Not always. Probably at the top. You could be way down here. You could be way over here. But you're probably at the top.
Mythological being that is a female-coded, like, mythological beast that either makes very loud noises or sucks the life out of you. What's the odds that everybody in the whole world would come to the same conclusion?
Gnostic Guru says, I suck hard at life. Okay, so you're probably at the bottom. You're probably way down here with the Mongoloids. Sorry, Gnostic.
That's crazy, right? What?
Carvin says, hey, I had a real IQ test. I'm slightly above retarded. Did you take it at like a McDonald's or something like that? Was it on a popsicle stick? What do you mean a real IQ test? Did you go to Mensa and they had like a proctored test for you? I doubt you did.
More hilarious when we take that theory and then reference back to the first video where the girl was making...
Christian says intelligence is the ability to quickly see things as they are. That's a theory. I mean, that's a theory. Look, how I would define intelligence is, look, you can be intelligent and still be wrong. You can do that. So being able to see things as they are quickly, it would be a type of intelligence. But how I describe intelligence is your ability to communicate your ideas effectively towards other people, to explain intel to other people. That's what I would consider intelligence, right? Sure, there's different types of intelligence. There's different types of genius and stuff like that. It's a hard to nail down thing. But this is what I think it is. It's the ability to communicate effectively. A lot of people would disagree with that, and I'm not saying they're wrong.
Her relationship trauma, her entire personality.
Yeah.
Okay, that might have been a little reductive. After all,
Gnostic says my IQ is 120 and I'm still retarded. Well, I mean that's not bad. 120 is not bad. I don't know what my IQ is.
well, it was just
I plan on never finding out. I plan on never finding out what my IQ is because either I'll be exceptionally disappointed or I'm going to use it as a weapon in every conversation I have.
one video, surely her entire program.
And then that way it's going to make me dumber because I'll just be like, oh, I have this IQ. I don't need to make points. No, I actually still have to make points. I have to use my brain and try to figure out why you're wrong and why I'm right. So I'm not going to get an IQ test.
File is like that.
Yo, you guys never told me how...
Or I could be insanely disappointed.
Oh boy.
Obviously, if it came in way lower, like I had like a lukewarm IQ. It is a comfortable room temperature. I might be pretty relieved. I might be like, oh, thank God, dude. The world isn't in the mess that I think it is. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. It would be a comforting realization. I don't think that's the case, though.
how cool it is to have a dad. Like, this is a secret.
I would have never guessed. No way.
Despite says, last time I took an IQ test, I was a Chandler. I was a Chandler. It's a personality test. You son of a bitch. I was like, what does that mean? Oh, God.
No way.
Shut up, dude. Shut the fuck up.
That's been kept from me.
And you've also
That's
got,
such a that's such a Carrie thing to do.
by the way, human embodiment of a twig. So you've got, like, I know this might sound surprising, but the person with piercings all over their face probably has some form of body dysmorphia.
Carbon says, my brother had a 150 IQ and he offed himself. Must not be that great. Yeah, there's a... Look. Yeah. Yeah, I can... I don't... That sucks, dude. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. I mean, I'm sorry you went through that and you had to suffer through that, because that's like... That sucks. And there is a thing where, like, if somebody is too smart, they can be too smart for their own good. I've heard of that happening. I mean, like Ted Kaczynski, he was too smart for his own good. And, you know, it fucking ruined his life. It really did. If he had been 20 points lower, he would have been fine as a Harvard professor and gotten married and lived his life and not been so riddled with, like, future predictions that he's trying to save the planet. You know, by the way, the predictions he made are coming to fruition now. We're living in it. He was right pretty much on the money, right? It just took 50 years or whenever he lived. The 90s? I don't know when he lived. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's another reason I don't want to get an IQ test, right? I don't want to be in the group where, like, oh, people in this group tend to commit suicide a lot. Oh, fucking awesome.
So, like, we've already got, like, bro, if this was soccer, she'd be out of the game. That's how many red flags she's gotten. It's bad.
Goofy Boot says, torture genius is a phrase for a reason. Yeah, this is true. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that, like, if you're a certain IQ, you're automatically a tortured genius. I did stand-up comedy for a while. And everyone thinks they're a fucking tortured genius. They're not. They're just stupid. They're stupid. They're still depressed. I'm not saying they're not depressed, but they're just stupid and depressed. Right? You know, you're not necessarily bound to be depressed if you're super intelligent, although it is highly likely, right? There's too much going on in your head. People don't understand you. You find it difficult to, like, make attachments to people and, like, have real peers, right? If you're way up there. So you live in a real lonely existence and stuff like that. Nobody understands what you're saying. Nobody probably likes you. It would suck. It would fucking suck. And what are you going to do? Lock yourself in a cabin in the woods and write manifestos all day? That doesn't sound like a life worth living. So, yeah. I mean, but, like, I met a lot of people who thought they were tortured geniuses and they were brilliant and stuff. Other fucking stand-up comics who were terrible, who were sucky, who sucked, who were idiots, according to me, from what I gathered. But I don't know. Maybe they're genius and I'm just a fucking idiot. I don't know.
I grew up with 3 moms. My mommy issues are
What?
off the
3
charts.
mom? What? Huh?
Okay, sure.
Huh? How? Were they all lesing out or something like that? Were you involved? Ooh, she's got the damage. Ooh, that's a fun one. That girl, if you date that girl and she's like, I got 3 moms, you're like, oh, this one's going to be a ride. It's going to be like that. 3 fucking moms. 3 moms? God, I bet they were constantly fighting.
I mean, so maybe she doesn't have a dad and has a ton of self-proclaimed mommy issues, but that doesn't mean trauma's her entire personality.
Yeah.
I don't like this woman. I don't like this woman at all.
I have psoriasis. Not like a little psoriasis,
3? Yeah.
like all over my entire body. When I
was
tell
it
you,
7?
Leo says she does anal. Bingo. Yep.
Oh, okay. Then we'll just play the video for 2 more minutes and then we'll
Knobs Dog says anal is on the table. I'm sure like 5 other guys are going to be like, anal? Yes. Yeah. So she's a winner in my book.
7. I thought it was 3. I thought it was 3 red flags or red cards. Yeah. But no, I mean, we can.
Thought says Ted Kaczynski would have solved free energy or the world economy if not for MK Ultra. Don't make me dive down that fucking rabbit hole thought. Don't make me. Don't you fucking make me. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to derail me. I know your ways. I know your womanly ways, and you're trying to distract me and stuff like that. I'm not going to fall for it. I am going to say that free energy is not necessary. All right? We have the technology to use nuclear fission to be able to produce energy for basically pennies for everyone. It's not an issue of can we do it or not. It is a matter of control. It's backed by the petrodollar. The petrodollar needs to remain strong, right? Because Henry Kissinger wanted to make that the default currency of the world, right? And so he pushed down the U.S. nuclear program, which would have been fantastic had we actually built it up and used nuclear fission instead of oil. But we're not even using our oil. We're using foreign oil because we want to buy it with U.S. dollars. And anybody else who wants to buy oil has to do it with U.S. dollars, right? We have tons of oil. We have the ability to create tons of electricity through nuclear fission, right? Clean, cheap, safe, effective. We don't do it. And there is a geopolitical reason why we do not do it. So let's just get off the entire thing about fusion or free energy or any of that nonsense. We know exactly how to do it. The issue is politics and power. Now back to the nose rings.
Get up to 7 pretty quick. Okay, let's go.
We're talking about the real issues here, thought. Nose rings. Bitches with nose rings. That's what matters. Not complex geopolitical matters. God damn it. Women. Ugh.
Like a little psoriasis.
Entire personality.
What is this?
I have
I'm just being silly.
psoriasis. Not like a little psoriasis, like all over my entire body. When I tell you, my whole body looks like this.
Okay, so she has a bit of medical trauma too, but I mean, there's more to her.
Oh my
Nothing
god.
normal can ever happen to me. I think I attract chaos.
Okay, so attract.
So everybody, everywhere you go, there's.
Knobstock says, I know there's something wrong with me because Ted's cabin seems wonderful to me. Now, have you seen the inside of his cabin? It's like, it is exactly a crazy person's cabin. Like, you would, like, of course, it's picturesque and all that, but you look at it on the inside and you're like, holy shit. One lonely guy lived here and he had a lot of hair. You can definitely tell. It's so cliche. It's just so cliche.
It's chaos. Huh. What are the odds of that?
Attracting chaos. It might be a little
Yeah.
red flag, but I mean, there's got to be something normal here.
Not to be a man-hater or anything.
Oh boy! I can't wait for this! Let's hear it. What do you have to say? Please tell me these aren't tattoos. Please tell me these aren't. Please tell me these aren't. Please tell me this was a practical joke where you looked into a telescope and had an ink on it. Right? Like a Leave It to Beaver kind of prank. Please tell me you didn't do that to yourself. Okay.
Are we up to 7 now?
Actually, no, fully to be a man-hater. Fully to be a man-hater.
Oh, now
Oh.
we're at 8.
Okay, I guess she also just doesn't
Yeah.
like men. I mean, you could have
I don't like you.
brought that up when you were
Right.
theorizing on why your relationships with men might be
Well,
going.
she probably goes into the relationships that she has with men with a degree of resentment because her dad wasn't around, and then there's some sort of other issue, and so then there's the I'm going to pull away from you and you have to hold me before I get away, and if you don't, that means that you don't love me. Like, this is this.
he's making good points. He's making very good points. I mean, he's basically saying the same thing I said, right? The entire thing where like I'm a temporary kind of thing. You need to hold me down. If you don't have the power to do that, then I'm going to be gone. This is, again, I said the entire thing about the frog analogy, right? If you lick it and can handle it, then you're cool. But if you can't or you're too afraid, then you're not cool.
This is, as I said before, it's actually crazy how... And I want to let you guys know,
Of course, she doesn't like men. She had 3 moms. I think it's a different chick, but... I feel like that would be the opposite. Wouldn't you not like women if you had 3 moms? I don't know. I can't imagine the dynamic behind that. It's got to be like a coven, right? Like a witch's coven. They must have like a big cast iron cauldron in the middle of the house where they just stirred stuff all day long, right? Just bitched at each other. What are you doing? Constantly disagreeing.
totally stereotyping. But I think I'm completely right. I think
stereotypes exist for a reason. They do. Not to say there's not, exceptions. Of course, there's always going to be exceptions. Of course. But they do exist for a reason.
I think I'm totally right about this.
Going poorly.
Will B says, sorry, I'm late. Start over. $100 and I'll start over.
I'm starting to connect the dots.
Yeah.
When I first started looking
No
at
one's donating.
theory, I didn't think that I would take it seriously at all. I thought it would just be a good laugh. But the more I looked into it, the more I think that it might actually...
Strawberry says, Mom 1 and 2 split, and Mom 1 got with Mom 3. Oh, you don't think it was like a group thing where they just slept in one big bed but didn't have sex with each other? You know lesbians. You know how lesbians are. Yeah, that could be an issue. That could be it. That makes sense.
Hold some weight because I did find quite
it's real. It's 100% real.
a number of studies that have strong correlations between individuals.
You know how many girls that I've met in my life that have had blue hair that weren't crazy? 1. And you know what she doesn't have anymore? She doesn't have blue hair now.
I'm not saying he's wrong. Oh, look, Dan. Thank you. $5. Here's $100 for you to start over. No, that's not how it works. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to argue for the crazy chick. I'm going to make an argument why you should date the crazy chick, why you should accept the crazy girl into your life. Women are not like men. Okay? Women are very flighty creatures, and they're all over the place mentally, physically, emotionally. They change like the tides. Right? So if you meet a girl and she is crazy, that does not necessarily make for a permanent condition. Now, if she's heavily schizophrenic and like speaks to demons and stuff, you might want to be a little wary for that. But there are some crazy girls that can be fun. That can be legitimately fun. So, before you throw the baby out with the bathwater, weigh the pros and cons. How crazy is she? Is she like gonna do whatever I say in bed and is anal on the table kind of situation? Or is she going to cut me in my sleep? You got to weigh those options, right? I'm just saying, don't automatically be like, oh, she's crazy, I don't want to be with her, because you could be missing out on some fun. Just saying. Christian with another $5 says, make it 200. No, you fucking dicks. You guys are
so she got rid of it.
Dicks.
Now it's 0.
with a lot of piercings and tattoos.
Dan Snot says, damn, 200? I'm doing great tonight, boys. I'm doing great tonight. Knocking it out of the park.
How they are
knocking it out of the park tonight.
perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos scored significantly higher than those without for sensation.
People, what's this here? Well, let me...
Honey, Honey! Honey! I keep trying to convince her that she's crazy. Maybe this will do it.
Listen to this again.
How they are perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos.
Onia says, don't date schizos. I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. Maybe. You know, look. The thing about dating a schizo is you're going to have to memorize more than one birthday. You might have multiple anniversaries. You don't know who you're coming home to.
Tattoos score significantly higher than those with.
But it could be fun. It could be fun.
Out for sensation-seeking and risk-taking behavior.
So are you telling me people that want to poke holes in themselves are more likely to take risks? Holy shit.
Not a bad thing necessarily. Not a bad thing necessarily. Look, it all comes down to preference. It really does. If you're kind of a boring guy who's like afraid of a lot of shit and then you don't want to like take risks in your life at all, then that's the life you want to live. But that doesn't sound fun to me. But I'm not going to like judge you for that. But on the same ticket, you shouldn't judge chicks with like nose rings and fucking purple hair. If you're going to do that, then like why would you judge the I'm not going to judge you for being boring. Okay? So I'm also not going to judge a chick for being kind of fucking crazy. I don't think they look good. I'm not saying that. I'm just not going to judge her for being a little bit riskier. I understand why you would stay away from women like this with a 10-foot pole, right? Because you're scared. Because you're scared. And like, look, women can really fuck your life up. They really, really can. And you're basically already with a normal chick, with a normal-headed girl, you're diffusing a bomb. That shit, like, you're doing full-blown Hurt Locker shit, right? And being like, oh man, this is a tough one. That's with a normal chick that goes to church and has a good relationship with her father. You get one of these ones, oh my God. Shit's on the line. If you want to ride the lightning, by all means. Will you be able to? I have faith in you. I have faith in me. You know? I have faith in all you cult members. I really do. You're here. You already exhibited that you are smart enough to listen to me. Oh my God.
Holy shit.
But yeah. It's true. Life is about risks. Life is about rolling the dice sometimes. Let me be very clear. Sometimes rolling the dice. Not being reckless about it, right? Sometimes rolling the dice. There has to be some sort of adventure. There has to be some sort of risk involved in life. Otherwise, you're going to get to your deathbed and look back and be like, I should have done this, I should have done that, blah, 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 blah. If you try and fail, at least you have that. At least you're like, I gave it a shot. But if you don't, you're going to look back and you're going to regret it. In my opinion. My opinion. I'm not telling you how to live your life. If you want to be safe and like go the safe way and do safe things and be all safety man and be safe, do it. I think it's a little boring. I think you're a boring person. Not in a judgmental way. Maybe a little bit.
The Journal of Public Health Research. Wow, we've got some real groundbreaking.
Carbon says, will this gas station oyster make me sick? Let's go. Okay. No. That's reckless. Look, you're not even getting it. That's reckless. All right? Don't eat seafood from a fucking gas station. Ever. There's a difference between a reasonable risk and a reckless, I'm going to throw away my life because, what the hell? Let's get face tattoos. Well, That's reckless. That's reckless. There's a difference.
Unbreaking discovery here, gentlemen.
This other study that I found seems to indicate that...
Shut up. Christian says I had 5/8 gauges. You had gauges? You had gauges, bro? Did you sew your ears up? Damn.
people with piercings and tattoos, specifically women, scored significantly higher for extroversion and assertiveness, meaning they are more aggressive
Yeah,
socially.
they cause problems.
Jess! I tell her she causes problems all the time. I'm like, this is your fault. And I gaslight her too. I'm like, this is your fault. I'm like, get in the box. And I push her under the bed. Will be when you feel regrets creeping in, just watch a few hours of snuff, fix you right up. That is not my opinion.
This study
That is not my... That I am not... No, he made the dono, and then I was reciting what he said. I do not know.
Today examines how people with tattoos and piercings are perceived. And the most popular finding was that they are perceived to be more sexually promiscuous.
Yes.
And that they tend to attract people who are looking for more casual relationships than serious ones. And many other studies seem to point to people...
Christian says, surgery, you'd never be able to tell. Well, that's good. I mean, like, my ears are... I never had earrings. Ever. Because I ain't gay.
with piercings and tattoos having higher...
I've never seen a girl with more than 4 tattoos that didn't have an OnlyFans.
Really? Really? Damn. Really? Really? Because I've seen, like, literally hundreds. And I check every girl I meet for an OnlyFans.
I'm thinking about this. I'm trying to go.
No, here's the thing, Asman. You date OnlyFans chicks. You date cam whores. So yeah. Yeah. Even the chicks with less tattoos have an OnlyFans. Because, not judgmental, not being judgmental, I think that's your type. I think OnlyFans whore is kind of your type. Not judging in the least bit, sir. Not at all. From the bottom of my heart, you do you. And honestly, that's probably pretty hot trim. Nothing judgmental about that. But yeah, I don't think that's a tattoo thing. I think that's a you thing. I think that's a you issue. Because I've met so many chicks with like a number of tattoos, over 4, that don't have an OnlyFans. Unless they're keeping it from me, which I would find very difficult because there are ways to find out.
You hang around weird girls?
Pat says, well, Asman lives on the internet. Exactly. Asman, Pat makes a very good point. You live on the internet, dude. You only meet cam whores. Maybe not every single last one of them, but you've already dated a few cam whores. I know that for a fact, okay? So don't be like, oh, I've never met a girl with more than 4 tattoos that doesn't have an OnlyFans. Well, yeah, because most of the chicks you meet have OnlyFans. You see, there's a sampling error there. You see the issue?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, right? So, like, I used to have 2 different questions that I would ask a girl before I dated her. I would ask her bra size and her item level in World of Warcraft. I don't play the game anymore, so I have a new question. I ask them, do you have BPD? And if the answer is no, I don't date them, because I know that a girl would have to be crazy to date me in the first place.
Why do you have to ask her bra size? Can't you just look and guesstimate? I can. I can from a block away. I mean, not that I do that ever. But the BBT question, yeah, I believe that only crazy chicks date you. And not to say you're Look, Asmund, you seem like a really intelligent cat. You really do. You seem like you got a good head on your shoulders. And that's probably why you have to date crazy chicks, right? You have to. It's just there's something about you that, like, I don't know, might drive the normal ones off. Like over analytical or something like that. You're going to need one that's a little crazy. So I'm not judging you for that. And also, you might be crazy too. You live in, like, this area, which it looks like an attic of your parents' house. I don't know if it is, but you have that dungeon-esque vibe. You have like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. You're going to smack a fish against a rock and take a big bite out of it. Not being negative. I can see if you would take that negatively. I can see why you take that negatively.
With impulsivity and more experience with trauma and adversity. This study from BMC Psychology seemed to find a strong correlation between...
Despite says, I'm sure there's plenty of average women in his DMs, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, but he knows that he's not going to have any sort of real lasting relationship with those women. Because he just understands his thought processes, and he understands women well enough to know that they're not going to be interested in his fucking, I don't know, him, just him, right? He's a crazy person. That's okay. I'm a crazy person too. I'm fucking nuts. I'm fucking batshit crazy. I have like tics and stuff where I just say random things throughout the day. And Jess is used to this. When we first started dating, she's like, "Are you talking to me?" I'm like, "No. I have tics. I just say crazy random shit throughout the day that has no basis in anywhere in the physical reality, but it has context in my head." And I literally do not have I kind of have the ability to control it in public and stuff, but like when I'm comfortable at home, they just fly out. Some of it's dark. And Jess is just okay with this. It's normal, right? We're both fucking crazy. And that's fine. It's beautiful, right? We make it work. We cobbled together a little family out of it. Sometimes I'll just start cackling like a fucking madman out of nowhere. It's because I thought of something funny in my head. I know most people do that, right? But then they don't say like weird random shit. Like scream it out when I'm in the shower or something like that. Or have like literal breakdowns sometimes. You know. Maybe you didn't need to know all this about me, but there you go.
Body modifications and people who experienced childhood abuse and neglect. And this one really stood.
Big B says you speak out your inner dialogue. Jess has a name for it. She calls it like, she calls it my consciousness stream. And like I'm constantly streaming. It's a stream of consciousness, and she just hears little bits and pieces of like what I'm thinking, and that's how she determines how I'm doing mentally that day. Like if I start saying like a lot of dark things or like tragic things, just like little bits and pieces of sentences and words and stuff, she's like, "Oh, he's probably depressed today." Or like, "Oh no, he's doing good. He's, laughing at fucking nonsense and he's okay." I don't know exactly how to describe it. You might have to ask Jess, but it is abnormal. It is mentally abnormal. It might be a type of obsessive compulsive disorder. But I'm not sure. I don't want to like go and, I wouldn't have to diagnose myself. That's what my therapist said. But yeah, it is just something we deal with. And I wouldn't doubt that he has some other little, what do I want to say? I'm trying to think of a word, but I'm sure he's got his own little quirks, you know.
Stood out to me. This one found a notable prevalence of
Carbon.
individuals with a high number of body modifications and borderline personality disorder.
See?
I mean,
Does not say that individuals with piercings and tattoos
It's just the way it is.
are all degenerate problem children undeserving of love.
the couch turping sense. Shut up, Jess.
But it's crazy how common that there. I mean, it's crazy that there's like
Jess says it's true. It's how I can tell how he is.
studies that say this, though, right? Like, you got to admit, like, that's kind of like, wow.
No, I'm not going to read it, even if he puts that in the title.
What are the odds of
Belly button
that?
piercing and an entire side piece, and I find myself to be pretty well adjusted and have had a lot of success in my relationships. But it does
Good
beg
for
the
her.
question. Could there be any legitimacy to the nose ring theory?
course.
Or is it mostly just something
No, yeah, there is absolute legitimate. Look, of course there is. Of course there is. What a nonsense thing to say. Of course there's legitimacy to there's legitimacy to all kinds of prejudices, right? There's legitimacy to all kind of like what they call racism and stuff too. What are you saying? Of course there is. Is it 100% true time after time after time? Not necessarily, but in general, just using like in the most efficient terms. Yeah, it is true. So what? That is my answer to that. So what? It is true. It is a real phenomenon. Right? When chicks are kind of fucked up in the head, they get the fucking nose ring and the tattoos and fucking dye their hair purple and shit like that. So what? Men do similar but sometimes different things. Men typically go and rely on substances a lot more. I mean, I did. But like that's not, that's not as outwardly obvious, and there's also like, look, women are more harshly judged on their appearance than men are. This is a fact. This is a complete fact, because that's just how they're judged. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing that's wrong about that, right? Women are valued for their beauty and their youth and stuff, and their fecundity, their ability to produce and raise children. So this isn't like bad men judging women on their appearance. No, this is exactly how it's supposed to be, right? Men are not judged on their appearance as much. I'm not saying they're not judged on their appearance, because they are, but they're not judged as much. But when you do things like this, it's going to it's signs, it's red flags and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad. It is true, though. It is true.
something that jerks shout at people they disagree with online?
Well,
Carmen says all women are 10s, and that's nonsense. That's a goddamn lie. That is a lie. 10% of women on the planet are 10s. 10%. And that is statistically true. 10% of females on planet Earth are 1s. All right? And the rest of them fall in between that. The other 80% are between a 2 and a 9. Okay? This is just how it works out. Not all females are 10s. And look, if you're a 10, you will be a 10 for 5 years. You're a 10, you got to be a 10 for 5 years. That's what you have. That is your lifespan as a 10. Once you get past that, you still might be insanely attractive, don't get me wrong, but you ain't a 10. You know, get married. Get married in that 5-year time span, and you are set for life. That's what I'm saying.
Both, absolutely both.
Happen to have a nose ring.
Yes.
Catabumbo says most people are 1s. What are you guys fucking talking about? You guys are, what are you fucking, this is not how this works at all. Do you guys understand that, like, how statistics works? And no, most people are not ones. If you're a girl, you will rate most people as below 5, though, which is an amazing case study. Have you guys seen that? Have you seen how women rate men? How the majority are below 5s? The majority are men. The majority of men are below average. Can you believe that? Now, if you do the same tests on men, they'll usually get a nice bell curve of women. They're a lot more consistent when they're with their rating system. But if you ask men, judge this guy from a 1 to a 10, 90% will be below average, which really tells you something about it, about women and their judgment and why Tinder is so destructive.
My ultimate conclusion? Probably both. Obviously, even with all of these studies and research papers, you're never going to be able to make a correct, sweeping blanket.
Christian says 6 months the wall comes fast. I mean, I don't think it's that fast, but, like, I get what you're saying. Dude, it's amazing how some chicks, like, they turn 20 years old and then they're gross. You've seen those chicks, right? They're like, who just don't get a stretch. I mean, there's lots of chicks that are never pretty, of course. But then there's some chicks that are pretty for, like, maybe a year, maybe 2. And it's not that they had a kid. It's just they let themselves go badly. I don't know if that's like a genetic issue. It could be, specifically for Latinas. Or it is a dietary kind of general health kind of issue. I don't know. It could be a combination of the two factors.
Generalization about every one kind of person who looks a certain way.
That's true, but it's crazy how often stereotyping people works. It really is. It's I started stereotyping people a while ago, and, like, man, it works all the time.
Of the first video we watched where the girl is just
Catabombo says, joking aside, I always deal with most people in this country. If politics and biases are ignored, people are generally good. Online, we are animals. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. Look, I mean, we shouldn't know everyone's opinion all the time. It has caused problems. And I'm here spouting my opinion on the internet. I'm part of the problem. I'm not going to say I'm not. But we used to be nicer to each other. We used to have a common culture and a common heritage. And there was basic, respectable things you did to strangers, right? You just treated them with a certain level of respect. And that's not exactly the case anymore. I'm not pining for the past or anything like that. I'm just saying this is how it is now. God, she is fucking ugly, though. People used to treat people with respect. God, she's fucking ugly.
Describing her issues with relationships with men.
I'm part of the problem. I'm not saying I'm not part of the problem.
And we know that people initially find her very attractive, as she even cites at the end of the video that I cut off that both men and women.
Will says, my Filipina 6 beats a Minnesota 8 every time. Okay. I don't know. I don't know enough about Minnesota, and I'm not personally into Asians myself, so to you, I'm going to say that's probably true. There's got to be attractive women in Minnesota, right? Right? I don't know. Every chick I've seen out of Minnesota has been mid as fuck, though, so I don't know.
Women have described completely falling in love with her. And when I first listened to her story, I wasn't even making...
Just take an E-dump like an Indian? No.
Any judgments about her physical appearance. I was truly waiting for the other shoe to drop of when she was going to describe some consistent patterns.
Want me to just take a dump on the internet?
Of behavior that
something bad that happened to her. Exactly.
In her case, I definitely think that being a vocal man-hater was probably the linchpin in...
Carbon says, I went to school with chicks who were hot, and then I saw them 5 years later, and they turned into a fat year blimp. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame, dude. That's a shame. And I've seen the opposite too, where like chicks in high school were mid, and then you see them in their like mid to late 20s, and you're like, God damn, you blossomed, bitch. Congratulations. And you like you want to shake their hand and stuff like that. They're like, look, it's that chick. She was mid as fuck, dude. Look at her now. It's like that song, Take a Look at Me Now. I'm always happy with that. I'm always like, oh, good for her. Oh, good for her. Oh. She deserved it. She was always sweet. And then you get that double down, right? Where she was like uggo in high school. And so she developed that personality where she was like sweet and like genuine with people. And then she gets hot. That's a fucking winner right there. That's a winner. Because you can go the other direction where they're hot in high school and they become all fucking catty bitches. And then they gain 100 pounds. And then you have a catty bitch that's a huge fat whale. Ugh. 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 Especially if it happens like when they're 21. Oh, no. Oh, no.
The disruption in her relationships.
I hate all men. And big surprise, you don't have good relationships with men. Nobody would have guessed that. Wow.
I can feel your sarcasm, Asman. I don't approve.
With men,
It's a
but certainly
shakaruski.
not all women with piercings and tattoos feel that way. In fact, here are some examples of super pierced and tattooed girls in very happy relationships with men.
Yeah.
Would.
Lucky guy.
Are you saying that sarcastically? Are you saying that sarcastically, Asman? Are you fucking serious? Because you date OnlyFans whores. I'm sorry. Would. 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 Well, I can't say it anymore. And look, he's like a little nerdy dweeb.
Yeah.
Would.
And you've got to keep in mind, this is...
Ooh, I don't know. This one might be fucking crazy, dude. This one, even more than like the guy, the one from Kiss. This one might be crazy. And it's not her makeup. It is her facial shape. Stay with me on that. You can tell a lot about a person by the way their face is shaped. I'm not even kidding. And I'm not saying like, ooh, Asian. No. Like literally the cheekbones, the sharpness of the chin, the sunkenness of the eyes. You can tell a lot about a person, regardless of age, based on the shape of their face and their skull. You know, what is that study where they, the shape of the skull? What is that called? Somebody help me out. What is that called? When they like judge people based on like the pattern of their skull. Anyways, what I'm saying is that probably wasn't completely wrong. There's probably some science to that. God, I can't remember. Phrenology. Thank you, Knobsdog.
This is a very important thing. Keep in mind that they could have had a massive fight 5 minutes after this TikTok gets uploaded.
Goofy Boots says, John's not even considered that some of these might not be women. No. Now I am, though. That's a chick. That's got to be a chick.
Like
That's a chick, right? Now you got me second guessing, Goofy Boots.
Just because, and like, that's the thing with people like this, is that things can be great, and then immediately they turn to shit.
Yeah. That you're being unfair. Because that happens with any woman. That can happen with any woman. And honestly, I know women are always like, it's not my fault. He was a narcissist. He was a sociopath and stuff like that. But I'm going to, unusual for John, I'm going to side on the side of women. If you can't control a woman, and her craziness, then it is your fault. They're all crazy to a certain degree. Some are less crazy than others, yeah, but they're all crazy. They're all fucking crazy. If you can't handle that, if you can't like control that, then that's your fault.
Best cat dad ever.
Best cat dad ever. Where's my cat? Oh, she's right there. She's right there. Come here. Come on. Come on. She ain't going anywhere. She ain't going
Oh
anywhere.
boy.
Ah.
Wow.
Ah. She ain't going anywhere.
Doing my pretty
Ain't
boyfriend's
going,
eyeliner.
cat
So
dad.
it's so funny. I always go
Okay,
for
get
the
outta here.
nerdy gamer guys.
Get
But
outta
this
here.
is what makes the nose ring theory so.
Not
That's a good cat. She's getting old, man. She's been with me for years. She's been with me longer than Jess has.
always.
So complex, because if the first video were to be enough to prove that it's accurate, then all of these other videos should be enough to disprove it, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
Despite it says not according to a mug in my kitchen. He's got a world's best cat dad mug in his kitchen. That's pretty funny. Of course you do. Of course you
the
do.
nose ring theory is just that. A theory, an idea worth
Yeah,
discussing.
she's the original lady in my life. That's right. Yeah, she's been with me for, she's been with me for about 10 years now.
Is it true that people with a lot of tattoos and piercings tend to be a bit more rebellious, chaotic, and traumatized?
Seems
Yes. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. And that's not a problem. Okay, fine. Who doesn't have trauma? Not me. I do have trauma. We all have trauma. Life is traumatic, right? You know, it's really about how you deal with it. You can be one of those 600-pound ladies and be like, oh, my childhood was traumatic. Meanwhile, they're fucking 4 years old and the fucking like way over 100-pound 4-year-old, really? And then you're gonna blame it on life trauma that happened when you were like 12? Come on, shut the fuck up. You have low self-control.
that
yeah,
way.
probably.
Yeah.
but does it
There's
make-
lots of people out there with trauma, and I'm not even doing that with quotes because trauma is real, that have self-control. That be like, yeah, that sucked. And I'm dealing with that not by eating 10,000 calories a day or however many they eat. They eat a lot. You know, okay, so whenever you see those, they always have trauma. And that's why I eat so much. Oh, well, you shouldn't do that because look at you.
make them inherently undateable?
I think I would be a good therapist on my 600-pound life. I would be a really good therapist. I would tell it like it is, not like that gay little Dr. Paradise. I was going to use a different word, but you know what I mean. Oh, well, that must have been really hard for you. Oh, do you want him to control your life for the rest of your life? Because, you know, now you're hurting yourself. Shut up, Dr. Paradise. Call her fat. Call her a fat, big boomba laddie. And be like, put the fork down, fatty. And smack her around a bit. Tase her if you have to. That always works for me.
Dateable? No. Some of them.
But-
some of them are absolutely undateable.
But-
Not all of them. As with most things.
Carbon says, hey, I've almost died 5 times in the last 3 years. I still act like an asshole. I don't think that's trauma-based. I think you're just an asshole.
It's a case-by-case scenario.
That's different.
And it's always more
That's so different, dude. I think you're just an asshole.
important to pay attention to how a person behaves or what they believe
Sure.
in than it is to try and find secret clues in how they look or dress. Anyway,
Well, I don't
that
know. I mean,
No, she's got a point, right? But also, she doesn't have a point. But no, she does have a point. Because, like, people try to find the easiest way to, like, determine a person's personality and stuff. And I don't blame them for that, right? You want to be efficient. You want to make your prejudgments, your prejudices, your prejudgments. You want to make those, right? Obviously, and you have a right to do that. But that doesn't mean necessarily that's exactly how it's going to go every single time, right? But so I'm being even-handed here. I'm being fair on both sides, both camps, right? Yes, typically piercings, tattoos, these things mean you're a certain kind of a girl. On the other hand, you might not be that kind of a girl. But on an even another hand, maybe I'm into it.
You just look at them, you know the way it is, right? I mean, like, fuck, like, that's it.
Nothing
just judge
wrong.
a book by its cover. That's the way I do it. I just look at them, you know about it. Like, that's the same way they put me in jury.
Mom says I almost died Sunday morning. Just missed getting hit by a car. Well, you'll get him next time.
Duty one time. Listen,
You'll get him next time, buddy.
No, I just look at him. I know if he did it or not. You can tell.
Yeah, I cut a bum, but you know what I was trying to say. I'm sorry.
Everybody's guilty.
I fucked that up. Whatever. I don't care.
You just look at him. I didn't get picked. They didn't pick me. Yeah, you just look at him. You know it. Everybody knows it. Like, it's obvious. Like,
I'm sorry. Asman, people look at you and do the exact same thing. Again, not saying they're wrong. Not saying they shouldn't be able to do that or anything like that. But I mean, like, glass houses, bro. Glass houses. You know what I mean? If you're going to look like that, you shouldn't, judge chicks that look like the other kind, right? Yeah, everyone looks a certain way, and it's going to cause certain judgments right off the bat. And not saying that's wrong. Not saying that's wrong. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this episode of the Sulk stream. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you had a few laughs, had a good time, enjoyed yourselves in general. If you could be so kind as to hit the like button on your way out, I would very much appreciate that. If you want to support the show in any way possible, including my Ko-Fi, my PayPal, or Rumble Rants, I would definitely appreciate that as well. We got to keep the lights on around here. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good night. Stay strong. Be good people. Be good cult members. Say goodnight to the kitty because she loves you too. Yeah. And, yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Same place, same time. It's a date. Until then, drink a lot of water, get a good night's sleep, and take care of yourselves because I care about you too. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Love you. Bye.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about